Multivers, Story of a Conqueror. Chapter 11, Major Cain's expression soured. Once a bustling metropolis, Raccoon City now lay in ruins, a grim testament to the horrors unleashed upon it. The streets were strewn with debris and rubble. The remains of shattered buildings reduced to skeletal structures. Broken glass and twisted metal littered the roads, reflecting a bleak and desolate atmosphere. The once vibrant neighborhoods had been reduced to a desolate wasteland. Buildings that hadn't entirely collapsed were now crumbling, their walls bearing the scars of violent encounters. Burned-out vehicles, abandoned and charred, served as eerie reminders of the chaos that had consumed the city. The cityscape was cloaked in an air of despair and decay. Torn billboards and faded advertisements swung precariously from lampposts, their messages now irrelevant in the face of the city's tragic fate. Overturned trash cans and broken streetlights added to the overall sense of desolation as nature started to reclaim the once thriving urban environment. A thick layer of dust and ash coated every surface, serving as a somber reminder of the horrors that had transpired. The city's atmosphere was heavy with an unnatural stillness, broken only by the occasional creaking of a decaying structure or the distant echo of an abandoned siren. Raccoon City's destroyed appearance was a haunting testament to the unimaginable destruction caused by the unleashed virus. The remnants of the once vibrant community now lay in ruins, awaiting the final blow to seal its fate in a devastating nuclear explosion. On one of the roads, a black Mustang galloped, and behind the wheel was Alex, accompanied by Alice, Angie, Jill, and Terry. But just half a kilometer away from their destination, the car abruptly came to a halt. As the car screeched to a stop, everyone inside was jolted by the sudden inertia. If it weren't for Alex's magic protecting them, their faces would have collided with the car windshield. Ow! What happened? Are there zombies blocking the road? Big brother? After recovering from the sudden stop, the four girls each displayed a different reaction. They first looked ahead, finding no obstacles obstructing the road. Their gazes then turned to the man in the driver's seat, who sat deep in thought, his brow furrowed. Aware of the abruptness of his action, the man began to explain. It's not the zombies. I sense a large gathering of humans at the place where Dr. Ashford promised to meet us. While Angie and Terry sought to understand the number of people gathering there and why it posed a problem, Jill and Alice, both intelligent girls, quickly grasped the implications of the situation. Is it an ambush? Alice and Jill asked simultaneously. Alex nodded, confirming their suspicions, and continued, most likely, the people are divided into two groups. One group is gathered in the center of a large clearing near a helicopter, while the other group is scattered around the area, on nearby rooftops, behind trees, and encircling the clearing from various positions. In addition to these groups, there is a powerful individual, most likely a weaponized creature created by Umbrella using the T-virus. But what worries me more is that they might use Dr. Ashford to force us into surrender. Alice and the others understood his concerns and grew anxious. Big brother, is father really in danger? Please save him. I don't want to lose him too, Angie cried out, her voice laced with tears. Don't worry, your big brother is here. Didn't I promise you before that I would take you to meet your father? I never break my promises. So, rest assured, I will definitely ensure you meet your father, Alex said, a glimmer of determination shining in his eyes as a plan started to take shape in his mind. Inside the Umbrella makeshift camp, hidden near the location where Alex promised to meet Dr. Ashford, Major Cain observed his subordinates at work, a smile forming on his face as he imagined his bright future after capturing the person with possible superpowers. Suddenly, panicked shouts from the monitoring personnel reached his ears. Major, we've lost connection with Sniper 3. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 6. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 4. Hearing the shouts, Major Cain was taken aback, and then, regaining his composure, he quickly inquired and commanded, what happened? How did we lose connection? Check their vital signals immediately. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 2. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 8. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 1. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 9. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 5. Major, we lost connection with Sniper 7. Major, we've lost connection with all position snipers. Even their vital signals have been disconnected, one of the monitoring personnel reported to Major Cain, sweat dripping from their forehead. Major Cain's expression soured upon hearing the report. Just as he was still trying to comprehend how it could have happened, another shout rang out. Major, a car has suddenly appeared in the target location without being detected by our radar. What? Cain exclaimed, surprised once again, as he looked at the monitor displaying real-time footage of an open area containing a helicopter and a black Mustang nearby. Faced with this situation, Major Cain quickly became anxious since he had only brought one helicopter with him this time. If those people captured the helicopter, they would all perish. There wouldn't be enough time for another helicopter to save them, as only 20 minutes remained before the nuclear bomb struck the city. With these thoughts racing through his mind, he swiftly ordered his subordinates to dispatch the experimental tyrant to assess the situation with the car in the footage. One reason was to protect the helicopter from being hijacked. and the other was to test this newly created experimental product. Major Cain vividly recalled the smug expressions of the researchers and their condescending attitudes when they handed over the tyrant to him. If they hadn't been critical researchers, he was sure he would have shown them who possessed the real power. The moment Major Cain gave the order to release the tyrant, Alex also came to know about the situation, having hacked into their communication channel before arriving at the location. The knowledge he gained from the hack also provided insights that aided him in accessing Umbrella's internal communication channel. Casually leaning against his car for support, invisible thanks to the Hades cap he wore, Alex appeared absent-minded to Major Cain and his team, who had failed to detect his presence. While waiting for the tyrant's arrival, Alex examined the sniper rifle in his hand, a replica of Katrin's from the League of Legends game. He had modified it to fire transparent, silent bullets, which he had used to eliminate all the positioned snipers. After amusing himself with the sniper for a while, he closed his eyes and continued to wait for the tyrant, simultaneously keeping a watchful eye on the girls through the newly developed observation haki, a power derived from the Arc of Embodiment. With the observation haki, he could see everything within a half-mile radius. Focusing on the girls' location, he saw them move toward the place where Dr. Ashford was being held captive without encountering any obstacles. Like him, they were also wearing Hades caps, rendering them invisible to others. Alice and Jill led the group of girls, each protected by a barrier created by Alex for added security. They moved swiftly and silently, guided by Alex's plan to rescue Dr. Ashford from the clutches of Major Cain's trap. With determination and resourcefulness, they approached the perilous situation ahead. Little did Major Cain know that he was about to face adversaries unlike any he had encountered before. As the seconds ticked away, tension hung in the air, and the stage was set for an epic confrontation, one that would determine the fate of those within Raccoon City and the outcome of this harrowing tale of survival and redemption. Chapter 12, Darksaber. As Alex watched the girls confront Dr. Ashford, who was being controlled by 5 Umbrella personnel, he sensed the impending arrival of the tyrant. Diverting his attention from the girls, he focused on the approaching enemy. As he opened his eyes, there it was. The tyrant, closing in on him through the gaps between buildings. Standing tall at an imposing height of over 8 feet, it resembled the one seen in the movies. Its physical appearance was a horrifying blend of grotesqueness and menace. Covered in pale, mottled gray skin, its body seemed almost lifeless. Beneath the flesh, bulging veins and sinewy muscles rippled, accentuating its sheer power. Its face bore disfigurement and twisted features, and its glowing red eyes radiated an unyielding sense of malice. The creature sported metallic exoskeletal plates embedded into its skin, enhancing its muscular frame and providing both added protection and augmented strength. It held enough power to effortlessly wield a fully loaded basket and a 6-barrel Gatling cannon in each hand. Its elongated claws were sharp enough to slice through flesh and bone with ease, making it a fearsome adversary. The creature emitted guttural growls and roars, further heightening the atmosphere of terror and chaos it created. A smile appeared on Alex's lips when the tyrant stood before him. At that moment, he felt the black light virus in his body reacting, transmitting its thoughts to him. These thoughts were not complex, just a few words: variant blood, devour, evolve. The black light virus continuously repeated these 3 words in Alex's mind. Familiar with the development route in the animated movie, Alex quickly understood its meaning. As depicted in the original movie about the black light virus, it is a virus that lives in symbiosis with its hosts. It possesses the ability to absorb different genes, evolving them to perfection and making its hosts stronger at every stage. The same holds true for the perfect black light virus that Alex acquired from the system, except for the last bit of consciousness that the movie version had. The first gene sample that the perfect black light virus Alex used, swallowed, and perfected was the T-virus cultivated in his body before he took it over. This made the perfect black light virus develop a unique attraction towards other T-virus variants, including Alice and Angie. Among them, the tyrant in front of him was the only one he could feel the perfect light virus being drawn to at the moment. However, there was a difference between the type of attraction Alice felt towards these beings with T-virus variants and the attraction Alex felt towards the tyrant. The first type of attraction was akin to the attraction of love that Alex felt towards Alice and Angie, while the other was the attraction of destruction that Alex felt towards the tyrant in front of him. He wanted to kill the tyrant and swallow its gene sample to further advance on the road of evolution. As Alex felt the urge to destroy the tyrant in front of him from the depths of his body, he knew he had found a way to increase his strength. With the decision made in his mind, Alex first put the black Mustang beside him into the system storage. Then he stretched out his hand as if he were holding a sword and used the Arc of Embodiment to bring to life the object he had just imagined. He felt the mana in his body being consumed at a super fast speed. In an instant, he used 40 points of mana. At this point, the imagined object appeared in his outstretched hand. A sci-fi-looking hilt made of white metal materialized in his hand. If there was anyone present who knew about the Star Wars Rebels animation, they would have recognized this lightsaber as the Darksaber, an ancient and powerful lightsaber that holds great significance within Mandalorian culture. The hilt of the Darksaber was a curved, black handle with a thin handguard. Its design was more reminiscent of traditional Mandalorian weaponry rather than the smooth, metallic hilts of standard lightsabers. The Darksaber is an ancient lightsaber passed down through generations of Mandalorians. Its unique design and connection to Mandalorian history give it significant cultural importance. In Mandalorian culture, the Darksaber holds great significance as a symbol of leadership and power. It is considered a symbol of the Mandalorian ruler, and anyone who wields the Darksaber is seen as the rightful leader of Mandalore. The Darksaber has a rich history in the Star Wars universe. It was created by Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi, thousands of years before the events of Star Wars Rebels. Since then, it has passed through various hands and played important roles in the history of Mandalore. Unlike the standard lightsabers with colored cores, the Darksaber's blade has a white core surrounded by black energy, creating a striking and intimidating appearance. Holding the Darksaber in his hand, an excited smile appeared on Alex's lips, like a little kid whose wish had finally been fulfilled. After all, there is no Star Wars fan who doesn't dream of one day holding a real lightsaber and fighting enemies in space. Even though you are not a real Empire, just let me imagine you as one and fight to my heart's content. Alex said these words to the tyrant, who was only 30 meters away from him. Roar. As if it heard Alex's words and became angry that he had used it as a substitute for other enemies, the tyrant let out a loud roar before aiming the Vulcan in its hand at him and started shooting a barrage of bullets at Alex. On Alex's side, when he saw the tyrant aiming at him, he quickly applied Shinik buffs like Shinik Shield, Shinik Stimulation, Shinik Acceleration, Shinik Weapon Baptism, and Shinik Barrier on himself. Following all these buffs, Alex's mind moved, and the Darksaber in his hands emitted a white light as a lightsaber with a black core light blade covered with white light grew out of the hilt. Similar to the one in the animation, the Darksaber featured a flat, black-bladed energy beam, which set it apart from the traditional cylindrical blades of regular lightsabers. Its blade resembled a traditional sword rather than the usual lightsaber design. The scene was set for an epic showdown between Alex and the tyrant, a battle that would test the extent of his newfound powers and the capabilities of the perfect black light virus. Chapter 13, 16 seconds. Alex's reaction speed had increased by a dozen times, thanks to all the Shinik buffs applied to him. Everything appeared before his eyes as if a video were being played at 0.15x speed. As the bullets slowly reached his position, Alex took a deep breath to contain his excitement and focused his mind. With all the preparations done, Alex moved his arms and swung the Darksaber in his hand. First, a vertical swing. Then, a second horizontal swing. With each swing made by Alex, one or more bullets evaporated into thin air as they came in contact with the Darksaber's energy blade. Initially, Alex's swings resembled those of an amateur learning to wield a sword. However, as the number of swings increased, his comprehension, greatly strengthened after being evolved by the two viruses, helped him understand swordsmanship at an astonishing rate. Tyrant took 16 seconds to empty the gun magazine in his hand. Similarly, Alex took the same amount of time to evaporate all the bullets that were endangering his safety by using the Darksaber. During those 16 seconds, a lot happened in Raccoon City. By the end of these 16 seconds, Alex's understanding of elementary swordsmanship had reached a proficiency of 68.5%. On Umbrella's side, Tyrant emptied all the ammunition it was carrying. Inside the makeshift camp, Major Cain and other personnel were in great shock, observing the battle between Tyrant and Alex through the camera planted in its eye. Their worldview was shattered by Alex's actions, creating things out of thin air, wielding an energy blade, and evaporating all the bullets fired at him. These occurrences were enough to destroy the worldviews of all the Umbrella personnel who witnessed the scene, including Major Cain, the second-rate villain of the Resident Evil second movie plot. And if that wasn't enough of a blow to Major Cain, unbeknownst to him, Dr. Ashford, who had been under the control of 5 Umbrella personnel as per his orders, had been rescued by Alice and the team. However, as we all know, this world can never be smooth sailing. The author always likes to infuse a little bit of sadness into the plot, and it can be seen here as the camera moves inside the tent where Dr. Ashford is placed. 5 fully armed men with Umbrella logos on their uniforms lie dead on the floor, with no visible wounds on their bodies. This was the handiwork of Alice, considering the mental health of the little girl, Angie. This leaves the group of girls in the tent with a pale-looking Dr. Ashford, whose hands are bound by a pair of handcuffs. Before Angie can even hug her father, Dr. Ashford coughs out a mouthful of black blood, catching the attention of the girls. Only then do they notice Dr. Ashford's pale face. This is followed by Dr. Ashford's description of how Major Cain made him drink a modified variant of the T-virus, known only to Major Cain, and ordered by the higher-ups to set an example for those who try to betray the company. Upon hearing this piece of information from her father, Angie is in a trance, and her body starts to tremble, her eyes misty. Seeing Angie's condition, Alice quickly moves forward to hug her and tells her not to lose hope. Just as her whole world is about to shatter like broken glass, she hears Alice's encouraging words, and coincidentally, her hand brushes past the shoulder bag around her waist containing the metal box with the antivirus. Remembering that she is still carrying the antivirus with her, She quickly recovers and takes out the vial containing the antivirus, giving it to Alice and asking her to cure her father. Alice doesn't waste any time and moves swiftly to inject Dr. Ashford with the antivirus. They wait for the antivirus to work, but as time passes, Dr. Ashford's health deteriorates even more instead of recovering. Angie and the others realize that the antivirus has failed. At this moment, Angie's mind is finally broken under the continuous impact of cruel reality. She feels her world break down like shattered glass as her tears, which she had been trying to hold back for so long, finally flow down her cheeks. While Angie was crying loudly in Alice's arms, she, Jill, and Terry were also troubled, thinking about calming her down. They all looked at each other before looking in Alex's direction at the same time. Making the decision, Alice quickly used the communication equipment Alex gave them before coming here to contact him and tell him about the situation with Dr. Ashford. Now, the camera moved back to Alex. He had already disarmed the tyrant by cutting off all his weapons. He was simply practicing swordsmanship with the tyrant, as it can only be called practice since the tyrant was being beaten one-sidedly by him without being able to do anything to protect himself. But the moment Alex received the call for help from Alice, he decided to end his training and cut the tyrant from the middle with the help of the Darksaber. Then, he collected the tyrant's body and a helicopter into his storage before using teleportation to appear next to Alice in the tent. Appearing in the tent, Alex quickly scanned his surroundings and saw the pale-looking Dr. Ashford, who was coughing blood and crying Angie, and understood everything. Following this, Alex used his analyze magic on Dr. Ashford to check his condition and, if possible, find a way to help him. All the girls, including crying Angie, also looked at him at this moment as he started to move. As soon as he appeared. At this moment, hope appeared in everyone's heart. But half a minute later, it was extinguished once again as they saw Alex shaking his head in denial. This made Angie cry once again. This time, she jumped and hugged Alex's waist as she cried her heart out, and Alex patted her back. Seeing his daughter crying and feeling the arrival of death, Dr. Ashford gathered all his strength at the last moment and looked at his crying daughter before smiling at her. Then, looking at the man that his daughter was hugging while crying, he said, "Young man, my daughter seems to trust you very much." Hearing the doctor's words, everyone in the tent, including Angie, understood what the doctor's following words would be, and this made Angie sadder, and she cried even more. On the other hand, after the doctor nodded to him, he continued and asked Alex for a promise that he would take care of Angie in place of him after his death. Knowing that it was the dying father's wish in front of him, he agreed as he patted Angie's head, who tightened the hug after hearing her father's last words. After Dr. Ashford heard Alex's promise, he stopped breathing. After the death of Dr. Ashford, Alex first collected his body to make a grave for him later so that Angie could visit him anytime she wanted. Then the group went to the temporary headquarters of Umbrella and killed Major Cain and others in front of Angie as revenge for Dr. Ashford. Doing all this and collecting the supplies of the Umbrella personnel, Alex used all the mana accumulated by the mana storage bracelet on his wrist ever since its creation to teleport the group out of the city at the maximum distance he could, which in the end was about 500 km, just a few seconds before a nuclear bomb razed Raccoon City. With a successful escape of Alex and the group from Raccoon City, the system notified Alex of the main quest completion, rewarding him with 3 lottery chances that he decided to use after reaching a safe place. After that, Alex took out his black Ford Mustang, and the group left that place in search of the nearest city or town. 2 days later, in a relatively safe city, Alex held a group meeting where he talked about his future goals and asked the girls if they wanted to follow him and become his partners. The first ones to agree to this were obviously Alice and Angie, who had a bond with him. Then after some thought, Jill and Terry also became Alex's partners. The moment the girls decided to be Alex's partners, he got happy news from the system. As the 4 girls became Alex's partners, Alex met the condition to unlock the achievement called Faction Creation. And as a reward for achieving this achievement, the system even rewarded him with a new system feature. Now, in total, Alex had 3 lottery draws and 1 new system feature. Their story had only just begun. Chapter 14, Changes. Second day after the escape from Raccoon City. In the suite of a luxurious hotel located 600 kilometers away from Raccoon City, Alex lay on the bed with his eyes closed, giving the impression of sleep. However, in reality, he was meticulously observing the changes that occurred in the system over the last 24 hours after using the system upgrade card, which he obtained through the first lottery draw rewarded for successfully completing the main quest, Survival of Escaping Raccoon City. The upgraded system brought several significant changes, including the introduction of a skill tree, system points, singularification of the energy system, the module feature, unlocked by obtaining 2 random module cards from the second lottery draw of the main quest, Survival, and the faction feature, unlocked through the achievement of creating one's own faction. The skill tree was reminiscent of those found in games, representing Alex's progress in various skills and abilities as a growing tree with branches corresponding to each field of expertise. System points could be earned by completing system quests and unlocking achievements. These points were valuable and could be used to alter the system's layout, unlock features such as modules or factions, or participate in the lottery draw, with each entry requiring 10,000 system points. With the singularification of the energy system, Alex's body now possessed a single, versatile energy called mana, capable of transforming into any known energy type. The system referred to this unified energy as mana, encompassing all alien powers. Thanks to this singularification, Alex no longer had to worry about imbalances between different energy systems in his body or the absence of a particular type of energy. Alex was fortunate to obtain 2 random module cards from the lottery draw, which allowed him to unlock the module feature in the system. As a result, he acquired the personal module and the item module, each serving unique purposes. The personal module granted Alex a certain number of loyal people every month, such as cooks, gardeners, doctors, office workers, artists, gangsters, and soldiers, limited to worlds he had previously visited. There was also a slight chance of obtaining personnel from non-visited worlds. Additionally, the personal module came with its own storage space. Similarly, the item module provided Alex with a collection of items every month, ranging from tech-related gadgets, weapons, powers, vehicles, to property papers. Like the personal module, the types of items were restricted to worlds he had encountered before, with a slim chance of obtaining items from unexplored worlds. The item module also had its own storage space. Alex was yet to utilize the 2 modules for the current month, and he planned to wait until he found a suitable place to settle down. Once he had chosen a location, he intended to refresh the modules, using the rewards to establish a base with the help of the personnel and items obtained. As for the faction feature, it currently served 2 main purposes, both centered around the people who joined his faction. Firstly, whenever someone entered his faction, Alex would receive feedback from that individual, granting him access to their abilities, skills, talents, and knowledge, personal memories excluded. This feedback was a lifelong synchronization, becoming available every time the person's strength increased, even by the smallest degree. Secondly, the faction feature ensured that the loyalty of its members remained steadfast under normal circumstances. Furthermore, the longer they stayed in his faction, the more their loyalty towards Alex increased, gaining an additional buff effect. Moving on to the rewards from the 3rd lottery draw, which Alex received upon completing the main quest, Survival, he acquired Archive Magic. Archive Magic bestowed upon Alex the mastery of knowledge, granting him the power to tap into vast repositories of information hidden within ancient tomes, scrolls, and digital databases. As an archive mage, he could access accumulated knowledge, historical records, and forgotten wisdom, providing invaluable assistance in his journey towards the future. Upon gaining this magical ability, the system provided all the necessary information about Archive Magic. The system had divided the Archive Magic skill tree into 5 tiers, each tier comprising significantly different skills, as was typical for every skill tree. At present, Alex had unlocked all the Tier 1 skills of Archive Magic, which included Knowledge Absorption, Memory Retrieval, Archive Portal, with 2 Tier 2 skills that include Cipher Breaking, and Chronicle Manifestation. For instance, 1. Knowledge Absorption. Basic comprehension, improves the understanding of written texts, allowing for the accelerated absorption of information. Linguistic Aptitude, enables quick deciphering and comprehension of foreign languages. 2. Memory Retrieval. Photographic Memory, enhances memory recall, facilitating precise retrieval of previously encountered information. Cognitive Recall, improves strategic thinking by accessing relevant information during high-pressure situations. 3. Archive Portal. Novice Portal Creation, creates temporary portals to small local libraries, archives, or digital databases. Interdimensional Gateways, unlocks access to ancient libraries in distant lands and realms. Alex was eager to harness the potential of Archive Magic and immediately summoned the Chronicle, a thick book with an aurora design on its cover. As he opened it, the pages displayed not words, but vivid images of events Alex had experienced in his life, both past and present. Taking advantage of the Chronicle's presence, Alex organized the knowledge in his mind, categorizing it based on context. With everything in order, Alex prepared to strengthen himself further. He had 2 methods to achieve this. One was to create an artifact with the help of the Arc of Embodiment, constantly enhancing his body and soul. The second approach involved evolving the perfect Blacklight virus and the T-virus within his body. With all preparations completed, Alex was ready to increase his strength through 2 methods. Firstly, he would create an artifact with the Arc of Embodiment's help, constantly fortifying his body and soul. The second method involved evolving the perfect Blacklight virus and the T-virus within him. Alex had considered this plan even before leaving the Umbrella surface base in Raccoon City. During his time there, he collected the bodies of zombies infected with the Blacklight virus or the T-virus, which he referred to as special zombies. These unique viruses held the potential to aid in the evolution of the Blacklight virus or the T-virus. Chapter 15. Faction Feedback. Metamorphosis. With all the necessary preparations done, Alex was now ready to enhance his strength. He had two methods at his disposal: creating an artifact with the help of the Ark of Embodiment, which would constantly fortify his body and soul, and evolving the perfect Blacklight virus and the T-virus within his own body. Even before leaving the Umbrella surface base in Raccoon City, Alex had already contemplated this plan. As he roamed the city, he diligently collected the bodies of zombies infected with the Blacklight virus or the T-virus. He referred to them as special zombies due to their possession of unique viruses that could potentially aid in the evolution of the Blacklight virus or the T-virus. To carry out his ambitious plan undisturbed, Alex quickly teleported to a remote area, situated 200 kilometers away from the city. There, he meticulously set up a solid barrier to conceal his activities from prying eyes and ensure complete focus on the task at hand. With all preparations in place, Alex accessed the system panel and initiated the transfer of the girl's first wave of faction feedback. Ding. Synchronizing faction feedback. Selected target: Alice, Jill Valentines, Terry Morales, and Angela Angie Ashford. Synchronization progress: 1%, 2%, 99%, 100%. As the feedback synchronization commenced, a warm surge of energy enveloped Alex's body, cascading through every fiber of his being. The combined power of the four girls augmented his strength, durability, agility, and spirit. Moreover, Alex's talents, corresponding to those of the four girls, experienced a remarkable boost. The Chronicle played a pivotal role in aiding Alex in swiftly comprehending and assimilating all the knowledge the four girls possessed. Despite the completion of the synchronization, Alex kept his eyes closed, for it was now time for the Blacklight virus to carry out its transformative work. Having detected two new T-virus strains within his body, the virus swiftly moved to engulf and evolve them into their perfected versions. Under the influence of the Blacklight, the two T-virus strains underwent seismic changes, and Alex's various physical parameters and spirit experienced astonishing growth. A formidable mana shockwave emanated from Alex's body, with him at its epicenter, wreaking havoc on everything within a 1-kilometer radius before colliding with the protective barrier he had erected. Lasting around 15 minutes, the mana shockwave eventually subsided, and Alex slowly opened his eyes. The extraordinary mental power he possessed manifested as a fleeting platinum glow, which he skillfully reined in. Following the momentous events, Alex retrieved all the special zombie bodies from the system storage and arranged them around him. Among the more than 50 bodies were mutated zombies, mutant zombie dogs, lickers, and the formidable tyrant. With a focused thought, the Blacklight virus within Alex's body stirred, surging forth as a black and red mass of energy that materialized into tentacles, converging towards the special zombie bodies encircling him. These black and red energy tentacles swiftly engulfed over 50 bodies, cocooning each one individually. With another thought, the Blacklight virus followed the energy tentacles' lead, actively absorbing the special zombie bodies' genes and perfecting them. Half an hour later, the Blacklight virus completed its perfecting process on the initial T-virus strains, selecting their beneficial traits and replicating them into Alex's genome without compromising his gene structure. The strengthening continued over time, with more virus strains reaching perfection before their beneficial attributes were incorporated into his genome. Once again, a mighty shockwave surged from Alex's body as his energy surged alongside his physical parameters. The culmination of this mental shock resulted in a profound metamorphosis within Alex's genome, finally bringing a qualitative change. As the saying goes, a significant quantity of change heralds a qualitative transformation. This time, the shockwave persisted for over 2 hours before Alex's spirit and physique ceased to grow further. At the end of those 2 hours, Alex's body underwent another transformation as the perfect Blacklight virus completed its analysis of the tyrant blood, followed by adopting its beneficial effects into his own body. In addition to this evolution, the Blacklight virus unlocked 2 new skills in the skill tree: vitality manipulation and memory acquisition. The first skill allowed Alex to absorb or share vitality with a target, while the second granted him the ability to glean memories from beings through their blood. Quick to employ his newfound skill, Alex delved into the memories of the deceased human zombies, witnessing their lives unfold like a movie, all the while absorbing the remaining vitality from the zombie bodies. With the assistance of archive magic, Alex efficiently digested the memories he had gleaned from the human zombies he had just consumed. In the process, many new skills were unlocked, and his existing skills exhibited notable growth within their respective skill trees. 3 hours later, Alex called back the energy tentacles after absorbing their residual vitality. Consequently, all the zombie bodies disintegrated into dust, dispersing into the air as they were released from the energy cocoons. Taking a moment to exhale deeply, Alex then retrieved 15 blood samples from his system storage. These samples belonged to Dr. Ashford, Major Cain, and 13 other Umbrella personnel, all renowned scientists and individuals with systematic military training. Employing the energy tentacles once more, Alex enveloped the 15 blood samples in cocoons, subjecting them to the transformative effects of the Blacklight virus. He gained the memories of all 15 individuals without any adverse effects on his consciousness. From these 15 blood samples, Alex acquired a wealth of systematic knowledge, primarily sourced from Dr. Ashford. As an exceptional genetic engineer, Dr. Ashford had single-handedly crafted a T-virus variant perfectly tailored to his daughter's DNA, making him an invaluable source of expertise. Having digested all the knowledge accumulated over the past 3 hours, Alex decided it was time to leave the remote location. He promptly teleported back to his suite at the hotel. From there, he teleported to the adjacent suite, where Alice resided. The two spent a delightful time together, and Alex made Alice his partner. From that day onwards, one less girl and one more woman existed in this world. Their destinies now entwined as they embarked on a thrilling journey filled with newfound power and potential. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.